the name of the moon, it's another shitty game review, but ironically for the least terrible game representing a series that is known for terrible games. For many in the West, this was their first introduction to anime, and I can personally attest to it inspiring many a young artist. It's everyone's favorite magic meatball-headed warrior in a tiny sailor skirt that may just be a little too short for a 14-year-old. We're playing Sailor Moon S. Released in the olden times of 1995 for the most popular handheld ever known to man, the Sega Game Gear, it came out far too early to be given a chance being tested in the Western market. This means we will be referring to our heroine as Usagi, and I haven't a clue who this Serena bitch is. Tell her to stop calling.
What's your real name?
It's Usagi.
No, what's your real name?
I said it's Usagi!
Don't run off, we haven't even loaded the menu. Some fans will be disappointed at the small character roster presented at the start. I'd like to assume the girls were off having fun, or just had better shit to do. The truth is, most Sailor Moon games are very simple, and very boring, and dropping the larger cast to spend a little more time on the game itself made this one much more enjoyable as an experience than the beat-em-ups released on console. I'm not going to pretend this is some lost gem, and Game Gear is never going to look as good as an arcade game. But as a package, it just felt higher effort than other offerings, giving you way more variety in play, as opposed to mashing the attack button. And you should mash that like and subscribe button, randomly. Close your eyes and just click it a bunch of times. See what happens. Make it a game. And I know what the haters are thinking.
Sailor Moon? Isn't that for girls?
Haha! Listen here, you little bitch. That girl has slaughtered countless foes without a second thought. She knows how to throw back a drink, and has an amazing sense of fashion. That sounds like a cool dude to me, so I'm gonna be over here kicking it with the magic girls, and you can go play some Madden with your wife's boyfriend. It's first in one, and we're playing with the star of the show herself. Fun-size Mini-Moon is also here, acting as the easy mode, but it's essentially the same game.
You know, your definition of a short stack has changed over the years.
Well, I go by a human scale.
I mean, it's in proportion to you.
Yeah.
That's kind of gross, but there is a less skeevy reason for me loving these girly animes. If you could humor me, back in the day, it wasn't unheard of for kids to see R-rated content. I was watching graphically violent movies in theater as a 4-year-old, and this was near the end of the slasher craze, with most of these movies ending on a confrontation where the big bad monster man is viciously taken out by the much smaller last girl. At the same time, the best American cartoons were being animated by Japanese studios, Gem being a standout, with its costumes, music, and all-around 80s style. I instantly fell in love with the series. And the primary studio behind it was Toei Animation, the very same studio that would bring Sailor Moon to TV nearly 5 years later in 1992. So in a weird way, these Magic Girl animes are a combination of everything I loved from that time, but packaged in a way that is usually much more appropriate for a younger audience. Oh yeah, we're playing a fucking video game. Old people tend to ramble. Did I ever tell you we used to wear used condoms on our belts? It was the style of the time. You've got the D-pad to move across the X-axis. Button 1 lets you hit things, and button 2 lets you fall into holes. There's also a projectile special move that both characters can do by holding down both buttons to charge, but it's completely useless, doing the same amount of damage you would do physically while wasting time, and I did not use it once during this play. And that's really okay, because the enemies are a joke in this game, which is also great if you've played the other beat-em-ups and know how many hits those sponges can take. The real challenge in this game is the platforming. Sailor Moon has this weird arc to her jump, so you have to be fully committed, or else some random hole could spell your doom. The first 2 acts of each set end with you finding an item from the show, with the third item being hidden in Act 3. Finding that one allows you to combine all 3 in order to upgrade her costume, which gives you more damage during the boss fights. Each of these battles starts out the same, with a short enemy rush, which is super one-sided for you with that upgrade, one-shotting them as they spawn in. First up from the Five Witches is Udiel, who can be deceptively challenging with her hitbox specifically being the face. She's easy enough to dodge, but hitting her has to be pixel perfect, and if you miss, she gets in a free counter. The easy method is to line yourself up to nail her with a jump kick when she lands, and you'll quickly find yourself on the way to the first minigame. Anyone a fan of Russian roulette? The difference with this version is you have roughly 10 rounds loaded and only one empty chamber, so good luck with that shit. But hey, if you win, you get an extra life, so that's also the opposite. Stage 2, and we are visiting the Love Motel from that fan-favorite episode, where Mamoru finally confessed his undying love for Usagi, pledging to stand by her side forever, staring longingly into her eyes before railing her raw out on the balcony. The game may not be that accurate to the source material. That isn't to say they got anything wrong, they just happen to skip all the details. This game does in fact take place during Season 3, setting it apart from the beat-em-ups that all seem to focus on the first run. However, outside of battling the Five Witches, it barely talks about the events of the actual storyline. One moment, I need to throw this girl down a staircase. That bitch is dead. The Five Witches arc also first gave us Chibi Moon, arriving 13 episodes into Season 3, so it makes sense to have the focus on her as the secondary character. This season also brought us the side chick scouts, like Neptune, Saturn, and Uranus, who all show up in the minigames. Pluto is no longer a planet. Boss fight, and another hilariously pathetic enemy run. This time we are up against Mehmet, who's probably the easiest boss in the game. Just hide underneath her and nothing she does will hit you. The next minigame has you deciphering clues to find Tuxedo Mask's location, but I got kind of lucky and just found him, so... Stage 3, back out on the streets, and I legitimately think the designer just gave up, with each zone being a flat line left to right. I think that's just amazing, and to honor such a brave man, I too will be lazy and skip us straight to the boss fight. Hit them hard before they land, you know what to do. And this time we are up against Vilu, another easy boss fight. Just jump over her projectiles and hit her from the front. It will not count blows to the back of the head. Pop quiz, and it's all crap you won't know unless you watch the Japanese cut. Getting a D+ on this one at best, but at least I knew the 3rd grade level question on planets, so I'm not that fucking stupid. Never mind, I'm still playing this game, but we're at a construction site, so at least I can find plenty of dudes to blow if my self-esteem gets too low. As boring as this level is visually, it has a focus on verticality, making it the most detailed level in the game. Meaning this is probably the first level they made during the original build, and then they gave up when they realized making games is actually pretty hard and requires work. This level is also full of drop-downs to loop you back around if you miss, mostly here to annoy you and waste time, in order to give you the illusion that the game is actually longer than it is. They don't value your time, but I do. 99% of my audience is grown men with shit to do, so we're on to boss number 4. And it's Telu, who is probably the most challenging of the group. Try to stay close, she's only vulnerable right after her attack, and does not stay still for long. One last minigame, and this one's kinda cool. You just tap the button to try and keep the ball rolling without hitting anything. Simple, but it works, like something from Mario Party. What you are seeing with the cats flickering is some recording error on my end. In-game, both Luna and Artemis are fully visible the entire time. It's the home stretch, and we are in the Five Witches magical science lab that just happens to resemble a sewer. Same enemies and obstacles, just make sure that you've got that jump distance on lock, and we will be at our destination shortly. It's a 3-way match with Cyprine and Talal, who are technically the same person split in 2 using magic, so this actually counts as a 1v1. During this final run, you will unleash Usagi's most powerful move yet, the Celestial Moon Prism Vag Punch. Just hit them in the crotch. I'm not being cute, that's the easy way to win. Bitch slap. I deserve that for letting my guard down. We are now up against the leader of the Five Witches, the Demon Queen herself, Kalanite, and the only thing that can take her down? More punches to the vagina. The pretty warrior has brought love and justice to the world once more, and all hyperbole aside, I did enjoy this one much more than the other games in the series, mostly because it wasn't boring. Super S isn't anything special, it's barely a good game, but for a handheld you'd most likely play as a kid while riding in the car, it gets the job done. The truth is, I've been wanting to cover a Sailor Moon game for a while, just because I love the anime, but everything from the beat-em-ups to the fighters are all pretty terrible, and there's very little to say about them. The show really is fun to go back to from time to time, and tiny details like Usagi having an always changing wardrobe, or the real-life problems being much more of a challenge than the actual monsters, really did stick with me, and still influence how I come at projects today. Even if you have zero interest in the game, I highly recommend giving the series itself a chance. Most of you listening are older guys, and I 100% understand why you would skip it growing up. But as an adult, it's fucking hilarious. You'll have fun, I promise. I'm trying to keep up with reviews, but going much harder on the animation, so they may slow down a bit. Thank you to everyone who's watching and everyone who got adopts this week, and I will catch you in the next one.